There's someone in your orbit right now who carries a secret so heavy it's beginning to change the way they breathe around you. And whether you've consciously noticed it or not, your soul has already picked up on the frequency of their unspoken truth. Energy doesn't lie, and the human heart wasn't designed to be a vault for emotions that demand to be witnessed, to be heard, to be released into the space between two people who share something that neither time nor distance can fully explain. This person has been watching you when you're not looking, memorizing the way you laugh at things that aren't even that funny, the way you tilt your head when you're thinking deeply about something, the way light catches your face at certain angles that make them forget whatever they were supposed to be doing in that moment. They've been carrying this for longer than you might imagine, perhaps months, perhaps even years, building a cathedral of feelings in their chest that was never meant to stay hidden, that was always meant to be spoken into existence, to be offered to you like a gift wrapped in vulnerability and raw, terrifying honesty. The thing about unexpressed emotions is that they don't simply sit quietly in the background of someone's life. They grow, they expand, they take up more space with each passing day until that person finds themselves unable to focus on anything else, unable to maintain the comfortable distance they once kept, unable to pretend that what they feel for you is casual or manageable or something they can continue to suppress. You might have sensed a shift in their energy lately, a certain intensity in their gaze that lingers a fraction of a second too long, a nervousness in their presence that wasn't there before, or perhaps a sudden increase in how often they find reasons to be near you, to text you, to weave themselves into the fabric of your daily life in ways that feel both natural and somehow charged with an electricity you can't quite name. This is the weight of unspoken words manifesting in the physical realm, creating ripples in the reality you share with this person, preparing both of you for a moment that the universe has been orchestrating all along. Their silence has been a temporary shelter, but shelters aren't meant to be permanent homes. And the truth that lives inside them is growing too large to be contained by walls of fear or uncertainty or the very human worry that speaking their heart might somehow shatter the connection you already have. But here's what's happening in the invisible spaces that govern human connection. Their soul has reached a point of no return, a threshold where staying silent feels more dangerous than speaking, with the possibility of losing you by saying nothing feels worse than the risk of changing everything by finally being honest. Trust that if you're reading these words right now, if something in your intuition led you to this message at this precise moment in your journey, it's because your own energy is preparing to receive what's coming, because on some level that exists beyond conscious thought, you already know who this person is. You already sense the truth that's about to reshape the landscape of your relationship with them. Every person who has ever loved in silence eventually reaches a moment when the facade becomes impossible to maintain, when the mask they've been wearing in your presence begins to crack and slip, revealing glimpses of the emotional storm that's been raging beneath their carefully composed exterior. And this person in your life is standing at exactly that precipice right now. The breaking point of silence doesn't announce itself with trumpets or clear warnings. It arrives quietly, in the middle of an ordinary conversation, when suddenly their voice catches on words that should be simple, or in the way their hands shake slightly when they hand you something, or in the split second when you catch them looking at you with an expression so raw and unguarded that it takes your breath away before they quickly rearrange their features back into something safer, something less revealing. What's happening inside them is a civil war between the part that wants to protect what you have now and the part that's desperate to discover what you could have if only they were brave enough to speak. And that war is exhausting. It's consuming them from the inside out. It's making it harder to sleep at night because when they close their eyes, all they see is your face. All they feel is the possibility of a different future. All they hear is the voice in their soul, demanding that they stop, running from the truth. The universe has a way of forcing a moment of honesty when we resist them for too long, of creating situations where hiding becomes more painful than exposing ourselves, where the cost of silence exceeds whatever price we imagine we might pay for speaking. And this person is being pushed by forces they can't fully understand toward a confession they've been avoiding. Maybe they'll show up unexpectedly at your door, their heart pounding so hard they can barely hear their own thoughts. Words they've rehearsed 1,000 times suddenly evaporating from their mind the moment you open that door and look at them with those eyes that have haunted every quiet moment of their existence. Maybe they'll send a message late at night when the loneliness becomes unbearable, when the distance between what is and what could be feels like an ocean they can no longer stand on the shore watching, when their fingers move across the keyboard almost of their own accord, typing and deleting and typing again until finally they just press send before courage abandons them completely. Or maybe they'll confess in person, In the middle of a moment that seems completely random, but that they'll remember for the rest of their life with perfect clarity. Every detail crystallized in memory, because this is the moment everything changes, the moment they step off the cliff of uncertainty, and hope with everything in them that you'll be there to catch them. What you need to understand is that this revelation has been building like pressure in a closed system, and when it finally releases, when they finally speak the words that have been burning in their throat, the energy of that moment will be palpable, undeniable, transformative. If your heart has been feeling restless lately, if you've been thinking about this person more than usual, if you've been wondering about possibilities you previously dismissed, it's because on an energetic level, you're already preparing to receive this truth. You're already being aligned with the shift that's about to occur in your relational reality. Pay attention to the subtle shifts happening in the energy between you and this person, because the universe always sends signals before major revelations occur, small earthquakes of behavior and emotion that precede the seismic shift of complete honesty. And if you know what to look for, you'll see that the signs have been multiplying, becoming more obvious, practically screaming at you that something significant is approaching. Notice that they become more attentive to details about your life, asking questions that go deeper than casual interest, remembering small things you mentioned in passing that most people would forget, showing up for you in ways that exceed the boundaries of normal friendship or acquaintance. There's a particular kind of presence that someone brings when they're in love with you but haven't said it yet, an intensity of attention that makes you feel seen in a way that's both exhilarating and slightly overwhelming, as if they're studying every part of you, not to judge but to treasure, not to criticize but to understand and appreciate at a level that transcends ordinary connection. Watch for changes in their communication patterns. Perhaps they're reaching out more frequently than before, finding excuses to start conversations about nothing in particular, or maybe they pull back slightly, creating distance as a last-ditch effort to control feelings that have grown beyond their ability to manage, swinging between the impulse to draw closer and the instinct to protect themselves from potential heartbreak. Their body language around you has likely shifted too, becoming either more open and vulnerable, leaning into your space, finding reasons to be physically closer, or alternatively, more nervous and fidgety, unable to maintain eye contact for too long, because looking into your eyes makes them feel exposed, makes the truth they're holding threaten to spill out before they're ready. Listen to the tone of their voice when they speak to you, the slight tremor that wasn't there before, the way certain topics make them suddenly emotional or eager to change the subject, the pauses that hang in the air between you loaded with everything they're not saying, pregnant with meaning that hovers just beneath the surface of your interactions. Friends and mutual acquaintances might have noticed something too, perhaps commenting on how this person lights up when your name is mentioned, or how they always seem to know where you are and what you're doing, or how they've been asking subtle questions about your relationship status, your feelings about commitment, your thoughts on love and vulnerability. These are the breadcrumbs of confession that's forming, the preview of an emotional earthquake that's registering smaller tremors before the main event. And your intuition has probably been picking up on these signals, even if your conscious mind has been trying to explain them away, trying to convince yourself that you're reading too much into things, that it's all just coincidence or wishful thinking. But deep down in that place where truth lives untainted by fear or doubt, you already know something is building. You already feel a charge in the atmosphere when you're together. You already sense that the next time you see this person, something fundamental might change between you. When someone finally speaks the truth they've been carrying about how they feel for you, it doesn't just alter the present moment. It sends ripples backward through every interaction you've ever had with them and forward through every possibility that exists in your shared future, recontextualizing the past and opening doors to timelines you may have never seriously considered before this moment of raw honesty. There is a sacred weight to receiving someone's vulnerable confession of feeling, a responsibility that comes with being trusted with the tender, undefended heart of another human being who has decided that loving you openly is worth the risk of rejection, or the potential loss of whatever relationship you currently have, worth stepping into the unknown, because keeping the truth hidden has become its own form of suffering. This revelation will ask something of you that you might not feel prepared to give. It will require you to look honestly at your own heart, to examine feelings you may have been avoiding or dismissing, to consider possibilities you convince yourself weren't real or weren't available to you. And that process of honest self-examination can be uncomfortable, can shake the foundations of stories you've been telling yourself about your life and your relationships and what you thought you wanted. But it will also offer you a gift, The gift of being truly seen and chosen and desired by someone who knows you beyond surface level, who has witnessed you in various states of being, and decided that yes, this person, this specific human in all their complexity and contradiction, this is who I want, this is who makes my soul feel alive, this is who I'm willing to be vulnerable for. The dynamic between you will shift irrevocably after their confession, even if you don't immediately reciprocate their feelings, even if you need time to process or space to think. Because once words like these are spoken, they cannot be unspoken. They become part of the story you share. They change the energy field that exists in the space between you. If your heart recognizes a truth in their words, if something in you has been waiting for this moment without realizing it, then what changes is the beginning of a new chapter where pretending is no longer necessary, where the love that was growing in secret can finally breathe in open air, where two people can explore what they mean to each other without the barriers of unspoken feelings creating distance and confusion. And if you discover that you don't feel the same way, what changes is the opportunity to be honest in return, to honor their courage of your own, to navigate the tender territory of mismatched feelings with grace and compassion, knowing that someone thought enough of you to risk their heart in your hands. Either way, this revelation is a catalyst, a turning point, a moment that will define not just your relationship with this person, but potentially your understanding of your own capacity for love, connection, and the beautiful, terrifying act of letting someone matter to you. Can you feel it? That electric charge, the air around you, that sense that something significant is about to break through the surface of your ordinary reality and change everything you thought you understood about your relationships and your heart's true desires? This person is gathering their courage right now, rehearsing words in their mind, trying to find the perfect moment, or perhaps realizing that there is no perfect moment, that sometimes you just have to leap and trust that the truth is its own form of grace. The timing of when you're receiving this message is not coincidental. Nothing in this universe operates on pure chance. And if these words have found you at this precise moment in your journey, it's because the energetic preparation for what's coming has already begun, because your soul needed to hear that you're not imagining the shifts you've been sensing, that your intuition about this person and their hidden feelings is accurate and about to be confirmed in ways that will leave no room for doubt. In the coming days or weeks, maybe even hours, depending on how close to the edge of confession this person has come, you're going to experience a moment that will replay in your memory for years to come, a conversation or encounter or message that cuts through all the ambiguity and lays everything bare, and how you respond in that moment will set the trajectory for an entirely new phase of your life. But here's what you don't know yet. Here's the mystery that remains to be revealed. There's more to this story than just one person's feelings. There are layers beneath layers, connections you haven't fully recognized, and forces at work in the invisible realm that have been orchestrating this revelation for reasons that go beyond what either you can currently see. Who else knows about their feelings for you? What have they been doing to try to move on before realizing they can't? What moment finally convinced them that silence was no longer an option? And most importantly, what has your own heart been trying to tell you about this person that you've been too afraid or too distracted to hear? The storm is approaching. The confession is coming. And nothing will be quite the same after the moment when everything they've been holding finally spills into the space between you. But the real question is, are you ready for what comes after the truth is finally spoken? And are you prepared to discover what your own heart has been hiding from you all along?